Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to make some tinga de pollo. I'm going to use fresh ingredients. I'm going to use 5 Roma tomatoes, half a white onion cut in half, and I wanted to show you that I didn't cut the bottom all the way off because I wanted to stay together as it roasts. I'm also going to use about 5 small garlic cloves. I like to add a lot of garlic to my dishes, but if you don't want to add that much garlic, you can add less. We're also testing out our new egg incubator. We've been trying to get more chickens, and each time we go to the store, they're always out because right now everybody wants chickens because of the cost of eggs. So, since we can't find them, we invested in an incubator and we're going to grow our own chickens. So, make sure you come back to see how that process turns out. Okay, so let's get started with the recipe. Now for this recipe, you can also use canned roasted tomatoes, but I like to roast my own ingredients because it adds more flavor. And plus, you don't know how long those tomatoes have been in those cans. So we're gonna roast our own ingredients today. Let's get started. Okay, the comal is nice and hot. I have it set at medium high. Okay, let's put the tomatoes on there. And these I already washed and patted them dry with a clean paper towel. We're going to add everything to the comal, even the garlic. Now the garlic is going to cook faster, so once that begins to darken up and to get blistered, we're going to remove those first. We're going to put those right in the middle. Now using your hands or a kitchen utensil, turn them often so they don't burn. And you can already tell the onion is beginning to get that nice golden color. So just make sure you flip them over frequently. The tomatoes as well, once they start to blacken on one side, turn them over. At this point, we're going to remove the onion. Now we're going to wait for these to cool down before we take them over to the blender. And look at the comal. I mean, this comal is already had it, but at least it didn't damage it anymore. Now, when making this recipe, you can use rotisserie chicken, but I'm going to use 2 chicken breasts. I did rinse these 2 chicken breasts, so now I'm going to use a clean paper towel to pat it dry on both sides. So now I'm going to take my chicken breast and I'm going to place it on the cutting board, just like that. And then we're going to make cuts over the top like this. This is going to help the chicken to cook faster, and it's going to be much easier to deshebrar, to shred it once it's done. And then I'm going to go across it just to make like little squares over it. Okay, so now that the tomatoes have cooled down, we're going to transfer everything to the blender to blend all the ingredients for the sauce. Now, along with the tomato, onion, and garlic, I'm also going to add an entire can of chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. This is a 7-ounce can. Now, if you're not used to heat or if you feel like it's going to be too spicy, you can use less. You can use as much as you want depending on your level of spice. Now, when you add the tomatoes, you can choose to take off the skin or you can leave it on. It's completely up to you. I like to leave it on. Got 5 tomatoes in there, the onion, the garlic. So now let's add the chipotle peppers. And with the combination of all the tomatoes and all the other ingredients, it's not going to turn out so spicy. The tomatoes are going to cut down the spiciness quite a bit. Since we're going to cook the chicken in the sauce, I'm going to add about 4 cups of chicken broth. Added a little bit to the can just to get the sauce in there that remains in there. Okay, and then I'm going to add the rest. I'm going to start out with 3 cups. If we need more, we can always add more. Then let's add our spices. Half a teaspoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon of Mexican oregano, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon. You can also replace the chicken bouillon with salt to your taste. I'm going to heat up a small amount of olive oil, a generous amount of olive oil. If you're using shredded rotisserie chicken, at this point, heat up a small amount of olive oil, add in the sauce, cook for 8 to 10 minutes, and then mix in the shredded rotisserie chicken. Let's add the chicken. And we're just going to cook for about 1 minute on each side. And at this point, you can see that chicken is not completely cooked, but at this point, we're going to remove it. We're going to use the same pan to cook everything in. We're going to add in the sauce. I'm going to add the remainder of the broth to the blender. Just give it a nice shake, and then we're going to add it to the pan as well. Give it a stir. And we're going to wait for this to reach a boiling point, and then we're going to add in the chicken. Okay, now that it reached a boiling point, we're going to turn it down to low, and I'm going to add the chicken into the pan. And we're going to cover and cook on very low heat for 30 to 40 minutes. And then we're going to come back and check on it. The chicken has been cooking for about 20 minutes. At this point, the chicken is completely done. At this point, the sauce has a nice thickness. I think I might have used a little bit too much of the broth, but that's okay because we can leave the lid off and continue to simmer until some of the sauce simmers down. Using 2 forks, I'm going to begin to shred the chicken and simmer until it reaches your desired consistency. This simple and delicious recipe can be enjoyed in various different ways. The most traditional way to serve tinga is on a tostada. Start with refried beans, a spoonful of the tinga, and top it off with lettuce, tomato, onion, cilantro, and queso fresco. This one did come out a bit spicy, just the way we like it. You can also serve this recipe over nachos, sopes, or tacos. Well, familia, we've reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the recipe, and if you do try it at home, let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to join us in our next video for another delicious recipe.